Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Tuesday, April 29th, 2025. I'm J.E. Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, Melas.
Basketball lovers, this is for you.
Next to him, it's the bearded one, my top shot hot boy, Trey Kerby.
Ayo.
Ayo. And over yonder, making the magic happen, super producer JD.
Hello.
There he is. Here we are. Hello to everybody on YouTube. Hit the like button, subscribe. Podcast listeners, 5-star ratings and reviews for your boys here in the playoffs. Got some games to talk about. Got some news. We'll look ahead to tonight's 4 games. Huh?
What is it, Saturday?
There's a game starting at 6 p.m. Eastern tonight.
That's the one that's on like
NBA
ESPN University or something like that, right?
It's an NBA TV doubleheader, 6 and 8:30, and then 7 and 9:30 on your main networks, or 8 and 10:30. Sorry, whatever it is. You got 2 on NBA TV and 2 on the main network.
That's right. The Pacers is starting at
6.
6 p.m. That's a 5 local time.
I don't know where Indianapolis is.
It can't be
state.
Eastern.
I bet it is Eastern.
What?
Yep.
That's amazing.
They have interesting daylight savings observances in Indiana.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, it's currently 10:09 a.m.
Interesting.
Currently 10:09 a.m.
I would
as of
have
recording.
never have guessed that.
Yeah, weird, huh?
That's weird.
Man. That's so weird.
That's very weird. Times, man. Time zones. Don't get me
Zones.
started. All right, let's talk about last night's games. You guys want to start with the Heat Cavs? Kidding. Let's start with Jimmy Butler returning from injury to lead the Warriors past the Rockets 109-106 for the 3-1 series lead. Came down to the wire task. Obviously, Jimmy Butler making big plays, some big defensive stands from the Warriors.
Yep.
And they get another close one here and going back here to Houston for Game 5.
Well, they get all the way to the end because of the Jimmy Butler effect. Even when he got there, I'm going to come play hard. You better come play behind me. And they don't get there unless Buddy Hield and Brandon Podziemski play like that. Have you ever seen Buddy Hield play defense like he did early in that game against Jalen Green? He stopped Jalen Green on a drive, and he poked one from Jalen Green immediately after, and that threw off Jalen Green. He started turning the ball over, giving it to Moody, just dropping the ball, giving it to Brandon Podziemski on a drive. He wasn't all together because of Buddy freaking Hield. And if Jimmy Butler is going to come back with a pelvic contusion and play 40 minutes, you better frickin' play hard. And the trickle-down effect was to Brandon Podziemski when Jimmy Butler got there. Brandon Podziemski became a new player in February and March, and this was clearly his best game of the postseason. He was awesome. You're going to get space with Steph and Jimmy and others getting the ball, and it's up to you to create like you can. And so he was just awesome at shooting the ball, making the right plays, converting, getting on the offensive glass, which the Rockets made just a bunch of dumb mistakes, just not being able to grab boards in that situation. It was like a 2-on-3 rebound. I don't know how the Warriors got it. Dillon Brooks touching Jimmy Butler all over the place. Like when Jimmy was, I got a sore butt, and Dillon Brooks literally just tapped him on a 3-point shot. Just dumb things were happening.
At the end of the shot clock, too.
Yeah, really, really weird stuff there. All that to say, Dillon Brooks saved this team. I mean, at the beginning of the game, but Jimmy just got them all the way to the end, getting all those fouls because he's freaking good. I think he's the best in the world at getting it. Some will say Shea, but I think Jimmy Butler gets it in so many different situations. Offensive glass, free ball. I mean, when there's just a loose ball for Lafise, that guy can loose ball it, free ball it, whatever. He can make it happen anywhere. I think he's the best at doing it. So it gets them all the way to the end where Draymond Green did great in that last possession against Şengün. So all that to say, Jimmy Butler was there, and the other guys, the trickle-down effect, that got them all the way to the freaking end of the game when their big guys came through. Steph didn't have to have a big game. No, Jimmy just had to do enough, and their defense obviously was fantastic.
Yeah, Steph's about the fourth story from the Warriors, I feel like, in this one. 17 points on 13 shots. Made some good shots for sure, but it was definitely the Jimmy Butler show. 14 of his 27 in the fourth quarter. The Draymond stop on Şengün was sweet. The rebound from Jimmy Butler was better. The guy flew over 4 Houston Rockets, came from the corner to get the board. Basically didn't give him a chance. The ball is almost on the rim when he grabs it. Knocks down the free throws as well. Got into a little beef with Dillon Brooks. They asked him, it looked like you were having fun, because Dillon Brooks was laughing. He said, no, we're not having fun. Get me on the record with this. I don't like Dillon Brooks.
That's great.
No one does. No. Those guys are fighting. Brooks immediately flops on the inbounds on that play. That was hilarious to me, but it was a youth versus experience kind of thing in this one, and you could completely tell. 4-point lead for Houston with 4 minutes and 6 seconds left. The Warriors get a back cut for a layup. That's just good basketball. Like, they just carved him up on that one. Good stuff. On the other end, Şengün gets Buddy Hield on a switch late. Takes a real soft shot. Similar to the one he took on Draymond. Later on, he would get Gary Payton II on him. Couple of dribbles, spin move, easy layup. But this one, he just floats it up. Rebound for the Warriors, which means Şengün is now guarding Buddy Hield. Easy step back three for Buddy Hield. Then Pods, Brandon Pajemski plays great defense on that Fred Van Vliet take, blocks it from behind. Jimmy Butler gets the rebound on that one. He's behind the play. It's a 3-on-4, and Jimmy Butler goes coast to coast. Şengün is jogging back on 3. That puts the Warriors up by 3. Then you got a panic play by Jabari Smith Jr.
Jumped in the air, had no plan.
He didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah.
He played pretty good up until the last 5 minutes of this game, and then not a young guy, but Dylan Brooks went Dylan Brooks mode, fouling Jimmy Butler on a 3 with 2.7 seconds left on the shot clock. Couldn't grab an off or a rebound with 28 seconds left. They just made a lot of mistakes. The Warriors didn't. Your role players play better at home. We saw that in Game 3. Buddy Hield had 17. Moses Moody hit 2 of the biggest shots in the fourth quarter. And then this one, 26 from Pods, another 15 from Buddy Hield. Playing defense. They started Buddy Hield because they're like, we can guard this team playing Buddy Hield. They played small, and they played Buddy Hield as their defensive stopper, and he took Jalen Green out of the game.
Yep.
He did.
And what did you think of the Rockets, Coach Udoka's play call here at the end of this game, where they are only down 1? I mean, they're still in it despite all of what Trey just went through. There's about 13 seconds to go. And the play call, appeared to be, hey, Van Vliet come over and set a pick to maybe then get Şengün on a smaller Gary Payton II. But Gary Payton II sort of just blew it up, wouldn't allow Van Vliet come over to make the pick. He didn't really fight through it or come from a different angle. So then it's Şengün trying to, again, operate and score on the greatest defender of our generation in Draymond Green, and got a shot up, but not probably one you want there in that situation, considering Draymond's the one guarding it.
Yeah, Draymond did an incredible job of not even using his hands, just putting his body in the exact right spot where he knew he was going to by the free throw line and stopping him right there and saying, all right, we'll play the numbers here, Şengün, let it go from there, because we saw throughout this entire game, Şengün taking it from the three-point line was not in a good flow. Yes, of course, you'll see the numbers there that he scored 12 buckets of his 28 shots, and he did get into a flow because he kept fighting through and he got buckets on fast breaks even. But how do I feel about it? It would be nice to have another guard making things happen. It would be nice to have Jalen Green on the floor, and Jalen Green just lost himself. He hit a couple shots and he did some things, but he got 5 turnovers and he wasn't there to create with Alperen Şengün. So they missed him. I mean, the numbers aren't bad numbers to see Şengün shoot from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing. On one hand, I was like, Şengün's their best player. He's their best offensive player. He's the only guy who could reliably get shots last night. Fred VanVleet did have I had a baby game. 8 3-pointers, hit some bombs in the fourth as well. But Şengün's 31 points came on 12 of 28. Field goal shooting, the Rockets, for the whole of their team, were 3 of 16 with Draymond guarding them. 2 of 11 for Şengün. He did a lot of his damage when Draymond picked up his 5th foul in the third quarter. Kind of went nuts after that. So, I don't know. That was a makeable shot for Şengün. I think probably you'd rather have Fred VanVleet handling the ball and deciding what's going to happen, but I wasn't too upset about it. I just flashed back to Draymond's first ever playoff game when he was a rookie. He was a defensive sub, got cooked by Andre Miller for a layup against the Denver Nuggets. Things have changed. He's the old guy now, savvy.
Yeah, and he had committed so many fouls in this game, in 5 fouls.
Oh, he did it all.
He did it all. The hands were all over Şengün, but the Rockets just made too many little baby mistakes, even not getting Şengün the ball on the post at times, or Şengün was in the dunker spot. Hey, and they miss him. And there's just so many things that you can point to in this game where they don't get the ball to the right guy, and Jalen Green being taken out of the game was a part of that. He's supposed to be the guard to make things happen. He lost it.
Yeah, I mean, he was amazing in their one win, Jalen Green. That's what we're coming at here. I mean, he's just been disappeared for 3 games out of these 4 games now. He's done nothing, and they need more from him if they have any chance to get back in this. I saw Zilla writes this morning, when you are first and foremost a scorer and your team relies on you for that, having 3 bad nights out of 4 ain't going to cut it. And that's where you're at with him, unfortunately. He had the one amazing game, and they pulled that one out. But they're also not doing themselves any favors at the free throw line.
No.
Rockets missed 12 free throw attempts in this game. Is it 35, I think, total in the 4-game series they've left at the free throw line? These are all fairly close games. So, I mean, you want to clean that up if you can. But, yeah, that final play, again, I go back to, like, it makes a lot more sense if that's Şengün shooting over Gary Payton II or anyone smaller. And I think that was the decision. That was the initial call. But Gary Payton II just, like, straight up, like, body. Like, he's like, no, Van Vliet, you're not coming over here. And then Van Vliet sort of, like, maybe because of the time and all that, like, okay, I better get out of here and let's see what Şengün can do against Draymond Green. But you're going, if you're a Warriors fan, you're taking that as great as Şengün is, like 99 times out of 100. Our best defender, Steve Kerr says the greatest defender he's ever seen in his life. He played with Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, David Robinson, Tim Duncan. Even, hell, you want to throw Bruce Bowen in there? Like, these are all...
I don't want to.
Well, you know, the point is he made 8 all-defensive teams. Yeah, yeah. A lot of all-defensive teams, a lot of defensive player of the years there, and he says it's Draymond Green. So that's weird that's the shot they ended up getting. But they have no one else.
They have no
problem.
one else. And, I mean, Jalen Green has been a disappointment. He had 38 in their win, and he has 24 points in the other 3 games here and was completely taken out of this one to the point where Udoka benched him in the 3rd quarter and then benched him again in the 4th quarter. If he was any sort of a reliable player, he's probably involved in that action, or at the very least as a release valve for Şengün if he can't get an attempt that he likes. But they went to their bread and butter, which was Fred VanVleet and Alperen Şengün. Those guys were their 2 best players last night. You're riding with your 2 best players in that scenario. They're just not as good as the Warriors.
Yeah, and some kudos to Ime Thompson because I'm just having flashbacks of all the play, you know, within the key that these guys have because they don't have enough shooters. Jabari Smith helped out as much as possible, but Ime Thompson was great in that 4th quarter on his little dinkers and dumpers, you know, getting freaking close. So he helped them get there, and I you know, slipped in there that Dillon Brooks kind of saved them in the 1st quarter. They were struggling, and Dillon Brooks hit those key shots because they didn't have enough guys. And so these guys that we've all mentioned, they were the entire team, but you could just see how many possessions. They were playing hot potato in the key, and Şengün was one of them, to Steven Adams. Back to him. They just didn't know what they were doing at times. I mean, they just didn't feel confident enough at times.
One of the problems is that Steven Adams has been one of their 5 best players this series. He's been great when he's been on the court. He was awesome in this one, defending the rim, blocking shots. He got Jimmy Butler at one point, but they went to Hack-a-Steve, had to sit him down, never went back to him. And honestly, if you're playing offense, it's probably not going to be Steven Adams on the court at the time, but he's been so vital to the Rockets. It's like, how are you going to have a good offense when Steven Adams has to be playing?
Yeah.
Doesn't really make sense. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We also had things getting chippy between these 2 teams. Maybe the least surprising playoff confrontation of all time was Draymond Green and Dillon Brooks sort of getting at it. Green knocked Thompson to the floor. Brooks responded by fouling Steph. Steph dropped the, 2 fingers at Brooks to indicate, hey, that's 2 fouls on you. Brooks responded by trying to rip the ball out of Curry's hands, and that's when we were jostling. I guess that one got Curry, Green, and Brooks all assessed technical fouls. And then soon after, Draymond committed a foul against Tari Eason when he dropped the leg drop on him and dropped it on his head, pulled his jersey as well. But that one, he was assessed a technical foul. No, excuse me. If he was assessed a technical foul, he would have been tossed, but instead was assessed the flagrant 1. I know, it's very, very odd, but if he had got his 2nd tech, he would have been gone. But they gave him the flagrant 1.
Yeah, the refs didn't want to kick Draymond Green out. I mean, he landed on Ime Thompson later, kind of gave him the elbow. He obviously, in any situation, he's going to get the guy who's on the floor with some body part. When he rolls on Tari Eason to give him the boot, was that an accident? No, he's become so skilled at that. And then on a ball where after the Warriors shot it and the ball was going the other way, he managed to just roll onto Ime Thompson to give him a little elbow. And
always something extra.
And the ref was quick to jump in there and say, get off him, because they don't want to toss him. That's part of it, and it was sort of part of a live play, so there was no flagrant. But he's just really good at that. He's super duper good at that. He's good at that. Jimmy Butler's good at drawing fouls, 12 free throws in this game. And they're good. They're good at doing what they do. That's why Jimmy Butler loves soccer. You know, he loves the drops. He's good at it, man. They're good at it.
Draymond Green carrying Trey Kerby's instigator team so far. I believe he has all of your points here through 4 games played. And we'll show you just the scoring for it all that we had up there. Yeah, Tech 1 point, flagrant 1 point, flagrant 2 points, ejection 3 points, suspension 5 points. And so here you go. We just did a quick little tabulation this morning, and Trey leads the way with 4 points, and it's all Draymond Green.
Yeah, I think I got him with the second pick, right? Beef Stew was the first pick. A lot of people are saying this is Odin and Durant all over again. Beef Stew can't stay on the court. Draymond just racking up the points. And he's smart about this. He likes to get the first technical foul early so that he can just push the line even further. Because they're not going to give him the second one, even though his feet end up on people's faces, chests, nuts, any body part that's not the ground, basically.
It's such a great way to put it. He loves to get that one early to know where we're going to push the line to. Then I'll just keep sort of skirting up against it, but we'll never maybe cross it, or rarely, because they just they don't want to do it. Like even that, I mean, I guess in the end, the Eason one, that is more of a flagrant than a technical. I'm not saying they saved them with the decision, the classification of it. That is definitely more of a flagrant one than a tech. But some of that other stuff very easily could have gotten another tech. And then, of course, all the talking he does with the official and can continue to bark at them as he's going back to a bench. It's sometimes it's wow, how is he not getting another one here? How is he somehow being just polite enough in what he's barking at that ref for 50 feet to not get another technical? But that's his thing.
Yeah, according to the tabulations, he's leading the playoffs in technical fouls to this point, which makes sense. With 3. A lot of guys have 2. Chris Finch of the Timberwolves has 2. But yes, Dre leading the way, as always.
So how do you see this going in Game 5 here? Back in Houston, you talked about sort of the Warriors role players playing much better at home. Can they obviously travel with some of these guys? Can Pods have another great game? Could Buddy Hield over these last 2 games has been really important? Or is this coming back, you think, to the Bay?
I think Houston should at least be confident. They played this game close. Game 3 wasn't a blowout in any sense of the word, and they won the last game that was in Houston. They have to hope first and foremost that they get a performance like this from Şengün. Once again, he was great generating offense. He has definitely answered the call in his first playoff series, showing he can be a 16-game player. I think they need something from Jalen Green, and then they need the role players to flip their way. They didn't really get much in this one. Jabari Smith had 6 points. I said Adams was good, but Tari Eason was kind of a no-show in this one. Dylan Brooks was helpful. I thought Thompson had his best game, but they need those kind of performances up and down the roster to win it. But I don't know. They've been scrapping enough that it's interesting. They just need to have a good shooting night. They haven't had an outlier shooting night, I don't think, yet.
No, they don't do that.
That might be a problem.
They'd be there. The points in the paint, they jumped from Game 3 to Game 4, and so there's more of that. And so you'll see more of that. The problem is Steph had his cold night, and everybody else went off, and they get the W. And so there will be a Steph comes alive at some point.
The Warriors obviously do respect the Rockets enough here, and I know you might debate that going, hold on, didn't they maybe hopefully fall to where they did to get into the play-in, to have to backdoor their way in to then take on the Rockets? Maybe, but a lot of things had to go their way. Shout out to Harrison Barnes as well. But Draymond Green, even after the game, is saying, playoff Jimmy saved us. To me, that is showing, this is a damn good team. None of this has been easy. We needed him to come back. We've talked about that. Could they even beat this Rockets team without Jimmy Butler? I don't know. I don't think so. Not last night. I think they needed him. They needed those 14 points in the fourth quarter and just that energy like you talked about, Tass. So, there's a respect on that level. And, that's why I'm interested to see what happens here in Game 5, because I've heard the Warriors compare this series with the Rockets to the one they had with the Grizzlies not that long ago, a couple seasons ago. And that one, it sort of went the same way. They went back to Memphis for Game 5, and that was it was like a 50-point blowout for Memphis, and came back to Golden State, and they took care of business in 6. So maybe it'll follow that pattern. But this is a scrappy team, but it's just you're right. It's these little details at the end of games, maybe some strange coaching decisions from Udoka that have tipped the balance, and then all the missed free throws.
You gotta make free throws.
Too. I mean, that's a lot.
Win games
in a very close game to leave on the board. Anything else? Any random notes from Warriors-Rockets Game 4 last night? Thank God it was entertaining because of that first one.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much to all those competitive players out there.
No, I'm randomed out.
Okay.
I did like Jimmy's askew headband, I'll say.
Okay.
His headband got knocked sideways on that last rebound, and then it was even sideways when he got to the post-game interview. Didn't take chance to adjust
straighten it
before looking good.
Let it look cool like that. All right, well, let's talk briefly here about the Cavs winning by 55 points to sweep the Heat and finish off the most lopsided series in NBA playoff history. That's right. Cleveland won the series by a combined 122 points. One more than the previous record for a series margin set by the Nuggets over the Pelicans in 2009. I was like racking my brain. I was like, I don't really remember that. I guess for good reason. It was a complete blowout. But anyway, 55-point margin here in Game 4, fourth biggest playoff win ever. Trey, brutal start for Miami in this game. I think it was 3 turnovers in their first 4 possessions. The first play was Jared Allen jumping the passing lane, grabbing the ball, and going for a fast break dunk. Like, not how you want to start a game. Obviously, the Cavs were on fire from 3, and this thing got out of hand in a hurry.
Yeah, I was watching this one by myself in the first quarter, and Ada came out, saw the score was 25-8, and she was Rajon Rondo, like, huh? I couldn't believe the score, and then it somehow just got worse and worse and worse.
Oh.
Amazing stuff from the Cavs. They were super impressive in this series. It's just got to be weird to be a 1 seed this season. Like, look at what the Grizzlies or look what the Thunder did. Look what the Cavs did. They get a week off after the NBA season ends while they do the play-in tournament. Then you come in, you just destroy a team that's not a match for you at all. Then you get another week off. Cleveland and OKC will have played 4 games since April 13th. That's it. And I mean, at least OKC is waiting still. Like, they're going to be dealing with the Nuggets or the Clippers. At least Cleveland might start a little earlier, but it's got to be weird. You know, you're playing 4 games a week for 6 straight months, and then suddenly you're just chilling for a little bit. But they completely destroyed him. I think they used Tyler Hero as motivation after Game 2. He was calling out Darius Garland. They were picking on him to begin with. Then Darius Garland calls him out. Then he calls out Darius Garland. They sit Darius Garland with a legitimate injury. It sounds like his toe is bothering him. And then in 2 Miami games, Tyler Hero goes for 17 points on 6 of 23 field goal shooting with 4 assists and 4 turnovers. Like, afterwards, he was begging for Jimmy Butler to come back. Embarrassing stuff for the Heat. Like, a disappointing end to the season. They scrapped to even get in the first 10 seed to ever make it to the playoffs, and we see why. Yeah, they were a 10 seed. They looked like it.
Yeah, it's easy to forget that Game 2 was sort of close. I mean, it was a 2-point game late.
It was close for a second.
Yeah, and then bam, bam. I am shocked that Miami Heat fans were still there. I was watching the in-game arena feed, and they were still pumping it out in the 4th. They're still there, still excited, copying the Atlanta Hawks moves amongst fans. But up until the nosebleeds, they were all there. I was shocked. Heat fans, no joke.
Well, they arrived 40 minutes late, so you might as well stick around. I'm kidding.
Get your money's worth.
They deserved their money back last night.
That was bad.
They should have refunded their tickets. I'm not even kidding. That was a pathetic effort. I know the Cavs kicked their ass and they've won 30 more games than them. I get that, but like from the jump, like it was sloppy. Tyler Hero can't run a fast break.
It was terrible.
The guy cannot run a fast break. 3 or 4 times in this game, they had 3-on-1s or at least 3-on-2s, and he would make the wrong decision every time. It was like, what is going on? So they were mentally checked out, and okay, it's not the first time we've seen a team down 3-0 sort of like wave the white flag, but like in the first 3 minutes, it's weird to see it 15-3, and then it's like, okay, you'll get back in the game. It's the NBA. No, it was 35-8.
You'll never get back.
And it's 43-17 at the end of the first quarter. Then it's 70-25 at one point. That's like 22 minutes into the game. 70-25. Like
Ernie Johnson called it the worst game I've ever seen at halftime.
Yeah.
You'll never see Ernie Johnson take a shot at the NBA's product like that. That was amazing.
Yeah.
He's right. That was bad.
It was bad. Yeah. And Trey brings up a good point about Tyler Hero just not performing in both Game 3 and Game 4. I mean, the team just faded away because he wasn't there to help lead. It's a new world for Tyler Hero being the number 1 guy. It's very different.
Yeah, he was bad. I mean, I guess Bam was nothing special in this series after a really sort of disappointing season for him overall. Andrew Wiggins, remember when people were trying to tell you Andrew Wiggins is maybe just as good as Jimmy Butler? Do you remember that?
I do.
That was a thing people were saying. He averaged 11.5 points per game. He shot 37%, more turnovers than assists, and was like Tyler Hero was like 10 times better than Andrew Wiggins. That's what that's saying something right there.
I don't know. He was 1 for 10 last night.
Yeah, overall in the series, take a look at Wiggins. It's garbage. Anyway, they're completely outclassed, and I think it was Candace Parker. There was like a Cavs blow-by at some point in the first half, and she's like, "This is a cone drill." It was a Mobley dunk, I think. It was
easy.
It was like, one little pump faking around. Got out of hand in a hurry, so now Cleveland will play either Indiana or Milwaukee in the Eastern Conference semifinals. Pacers obviously up 3-1. Could close it out tonight. That won't start until Saturday, though, at the earliest. No matter what happens, like even if Indy wraps it up tonight. So that will be a bit of a gap there. Mm-hmm. It's only Tuesday, right?
It is only Tuesday. It's only Tuesday. Cleveland is chilling. I think we talked yesterday how impressive was OKC in their sweep of the Grizzlies. They were okay. I think we all agreed. They did win one of their games by 50. They had a 29-point comeback. That's pretty sweet. Their defense was nonstop. Cleveland, I do think, was taking care of business, impressive in this series. 3 of these were blowout games. They shot 44% from 3 for the entire series. Mitchell was killing when he was in. Ty Jerome had his moment that then turned into everybody else on the Cavs bench being able to have their moments. Mobley and Allen were both really good. The only concern, literally, is Darius Garland, who now gets a little bit of extra time off. They said he basically didn't skip these 2 games because of rest. He was really hurt. They really want his toe to heal up, but now he gets a chance to have his toe heal up because the next series is going to be a lot tougher for Cleveland.
Anything else to add on this?
No, I was just surprised that Andrew Wiggins played 20 minutes yesterday. That's the weird thing. If you're not just going to run up and down the floor, you might as well just do it for another 10 minutes. That was the weird thing. I mean, it was... Yeah, that was odd.
It was so bad. And it was weird to hear Ernie Johnson say that at half. Quote, "This might be the worst game I've ever watched," end quote. And I wrote it down because I was like, I was like, whoa. Ernie saying that. It's one thing. It's Chuck laughing about it.
Yeah,
Shaq
exactly.
laughing about it. Even Kenny. Ernie.
They did a test pattern for Kenny's pictures.
Yeah.
They weren't doing anything. They're like, finally, we get to really mail it in.
Yeah, for sure. That's what they cook. That's what they most cooked.
Totally,
yeah. There is nothing to actually talk about from the game, so let's just have some laughs.
What do you think about the Heat's core going forward? Like, literally, is Bam, Hero, and Khalil Ware a core?
It's a
core.
10th seed or a 9th seed core, yeah.
That was the
East.
Bobby Marks core, their big 3 for their what do they do this offseason. They got the number 20 pick. They got 3 tradable first, and they have some tradable contracts.
Right.
But this team, after the Jimmy Butler trade, was one of the worst offenses in the league and okay defensively. They blew like 15 games in the fourth quarter where they're giving up 10-point leads. It was disgusting for the Miami Heat the last half of the season. So they're a team that doesn't like to stay in the middle for a long time, and they have been in the play-in tournament year after year after year. They got worse this year, so I wonder what they look like next season.
I mean, Bam, after the game, basically was saying, this team's going to look way different. This is going to be a different Heat team next year. So I think they're all assuming it's going to be like some big changes here, and it should be, because this is not a good team currently constructed.
Yeah, when Bobby Marks noted that the core was that, Euro, Bam, and Khalil Ware, I thought, is Andrew Wiggins not under contract? I mean, they just consider him, Bobby considers him not part of this team, frankly. He is signed for another 2 years. Terry Rozier is also signed for a monster $26 million. So they are paid like they're part of the core. And Wiggins obviously needs incredible leadership to be a helper guy.
Yeah.
So it ain't Golden State anymore. And so it's a totally different atmosphere. Is Tyler Hero going to be able to jump in another level and be a leader? I read the article on The Athletic about that. Jerry Weiss breaking it down. What do we got here? What do we got in Tyler Hero? It's a great question. So far, so bad. We'll see if this helps him just being a number 1 guy.
You talked about a couple teams like going to carry the offseason here for us. The Heat were on that list. Milwaukee Bucks, the Grizzlies,
Hawks,
Suns maybe still with their decisions, and Kevin Durant. Yeah. So there's a lot of teams sort of at this crossroads, like, what the hell are we? Where are we going? And you got to like maybe really tear it down or really pivot. So we'll see what Miami does here. As for Cleveland, like, do you think they care at all who they play in a second round? Like, are they fingers crossed for a Milwaukee Bucks comeback, or let's try and take on the Pacers again? Like, what do you think?
I mean, they'd rather play the Bucks, but I think they're scouting the Pacers right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And the way that they were able to hit so many freaking threes in this series, they got to feel good against Indiana. They got to feel good, period.
Right.
Period. But, yeah, they'd rather play the Bucks for sure. They can outscore them. There's no doubt.
Speaking of the Bucks, Damian Lillard is done for the season after being diagnosed with a torn left Achilles tendon. The MRI revealed the severity of the injury. It's going to end Dame's season here. The rest of the playoffs also puts next season in jeopardy due to the extended recovery, because what is that? That's usually an 8 to 12 month recovery timeline with an Achilles tear like this, and he is older. He's going to be, I think he turns 35 in July. So, very likely missing the early part of next season, and who knows how much more. But yeah, what we thought was true, TK, that sure looked like a torn Achilles tendon, and it was.
Yeah, exactly. And you could tell from Dame's reaction that was probably what was going to be. They wanted to do all their testing, though apparently there's a palpating sort of test you can do that basically tells you what's going to happen. So people knew what was going to happen, and it's such a hard thing to recover from that maybe this doesn't end Damian Lillard's career. He's still got a contract next season, $54 million in 25-26 with a player option for $58 million in 26-27. I think it would be cool to see Damian Lillard on the court again. Yeah. But this definitely is the twilight of Dame's career, and the Bucks have to have a lot of questions going into the offseason. This is the first time since 2017 that they didn't host their first round playoff series. No home court advantage. They've lost in the first round 3 straight seasons. A lot of that has been due to injuries, but the Bucks still haven't looked like a championship contender and never really did this season. Never really did last season, if we're being quite honest, after the Adrian Griffin move. So I think Doc will be a decision. They just extended John Horst. Doc was very complimentary about him. They seem aligned, but who knows what's going to happen. And then the big question is, what does Giannis want to do? Because they're not going to trade him unless Giannis says, trade me. Yeah. Will he say so? He says he wants to win a second championship. He said it on his brother's podcast. He was very adamant on his brother's podcast. I want that second championship.
And he did tell the Times that back in 23. Same thing.
Exactly. Right. But that was before they traded for Dame.
That's right.
They traded for Dame. He signed the extension. Clock is ticking now. And it doesn't look like there's many ways for the Bucks to get better. So I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah. When they went and traded Damian Lillard, they gave up a ton. After giving up a ton for Drew Holiday, after digging in their heels and signing Chris Middleton and Brook Lopez to deals, they're at a point where they can't do all that much. You look at their numbers next year. It's 54 for Giannis, 54 for Damian Lillard that they got to pay no matter what. And then their next best player is Kyle Kuzma. Oh. So you're at a point here where you're looking at it, and if you're Giannis and you're saying, okay, I'm going to stay, you're hoping that the summer plan for Kyle Kuzma is to make him become a new player, because otherwise, literally, what is there to play? I mean, Giannis moving to the center spot, okay, and letting Brook go, and maybe signing Kevin Porter Jr. back and hoping Kuzma and Kevin Porter Jr. can be entirely different. Obviously, that doesn't sound all that great, but it is up to Giannis Antetokounmpo if he wants to move on or not. Does he want to be Dirk Nowitzki type of thing, where he won a title in Dallas, and for the next 8 seasons, they only got to the playoffs and didn't win a thing. I mean, they didn't win another playoff series for the rest of Dirk's career. Giannis has. Is that
true?
It is
That's
weird when you think about it.
Incredible.
Yeah, it is weird. Giannis did win a playoff series the year following the championship, but since he's been injured, frankly. He wasn't there last year.
Or somebody has been injured, right? Chris Middleton. He missed that entire 7-game series.
Yeah, that was part of it.
Eastern Conference semifinals. Yeah,
Giannis twice the last 2 years.
And then Dame, obviously.
So, when they get eliminated by the Pacers, that's 3 years back-to-back of him not surpassing the first frickin' round. So it's up to him if he wants to just be loyal to the Milwaukee Bucks, or he wants to say, I want to be somewhere else. Frankly, it's strictly up to him, because it's going to take some time for Milwaukee to do it. They can't just say, okay, here's the calculations, we're just going to go sign a big-time player. They can't. I mean, they can. Right. Then they can pay the non-tax player MLE for $12 million next year. That's about it. But I'm not even sure, even if they get a disabled player exception for Damian Lillard, I mean, that's going to take them up to the apron, most likely. So I don't even know if they want to spend that. They're just not going to get better for a while.
And the big problem here, of course, they don't own any of their first-round picks until 2031, I think is right. And they have very few, I mean, if any, for being completely honest, like young, cheap talent really on their roster that they've cultivated. You brought up the Brook Lopez. He's like 37. He's not even under contract next season. There's that question mark. And then, Kyle Kuzma is there. But that's been a disaster since they traded for Chris Middleton for him. And it just hasn't worked out, and like a lot of people maybe expected. So what do they do? It just comes down to, what does Giannis want to do? Because if Giannis says, all right, let's go, then where does that, obviously a lot of teams would line up to like try and still make a trade for Giannis. Guy's still in his prime.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously he was like competitive enough as hell and was one of the best players in the world that like a lot of teams would try and go for it. And you could get a nice return back. You're never going to get like equal value for Giannis.
No.
But you're going to maybe like keep
he's a
your
reset
franchise
button.
afloat. Yeah.
And they don't have that because the thing with Lillard was maybe, okay, imagine Lillard is healthy. The Bucks just don't beat the Pacers. And it's another disappointing end to the season. 3 straight first-round losses. That's bad. If everybody's healthy, maybe then the Bucks could be like, all right, well, we're going to move Damian Lillard. We don't get back what we traded for him, but maybe we get some picks that we can then use to do something else. Now they don't even have that option because who's really going to trade for Damian Lillard? So the only real reset button the Bucks have now is trading Giannis, which that could be a reset that takes 20 years. That's literally what happened after they traded Kareem as well. So who knows what happens? It's crazy. I wonder if they're considering trading Damian Lillard for Bradley Beal next season. Who else is going to trade for Bradley Beal? So if you're the Suns, you're like, at least we're getting something.
Yeah.
And if you're the Bucks, you're like, at least Beal can play.
Right.
It sounds like a dumb trade, but like literally what else are they going to do?
Yeah,
Get a disabled player exception for $54 million and use it on who?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and that means Dame's not playing at all next year. But here's the question. Would the Suns do that? There's the crazy question. Would the Suns want to take on Damian Lillard because at least Bradley Beal can play? I mean, they're both signed to the exact same term, I do believe.
Yeah, it's
Dame
pretty
has
much the same
one plus an
contract.
option.
Yep.
I wonder if they would. That's the weird thing.
Well, the betting odds have the Nets as the favorites to land Giannis if he's not with the Bucks next season.
They're pretty close to a championship, so I can see that.
Yeah.
Minus 200. Then it's the Spurs plus 325, Lakers plus 450, Heat plus 500, and our Toronto Raptors. You know Masai Ujiri loves them some Giannis at plus 1600. There you go.
There's a great Greek community in Toronto. Great international community in Toronto. He'd love it there. I wonder what's going through Giannis' head. I'll never be able to guess, but I do think maybe he's considering he's 30 years old. He was injured for last year's postseason, didn't play. The year before that, he was also injured for part of the postseason. So he may be thinking 30, okay, I'm one of the better players in the world. There's no doubt about that. But how many more postseasons do I have here? And so maybe he's got to say, even though I'm signed in Milwaukee for 2 years plus an option, 3 years, he could just stay there and say to John Horst, all right, I'll stay here for the rest of my contract. But maybe he needs to do it right here, right now, and be urgent about it.
That's sort of what he has told us a couple times.
He does talk about his body. He does, even when he was on Giannis Antetokounmpo's podcast, he did say something about his body being injured. Like, he doesn't know how many times he has left.
Yeah, right.
If I do have my podcast correct, if I do my analytics analysis correctly, I don't know. I don't know what he wants. Does he need to win right here, right now, or it will end up being a very Dirk Nowitzki-like? It feels like this is going to be forever. It's going to be forever that they're going to be average at best, right?
Okay.
With Giannis Antetokounmpo?
Well, then he's not. Oh, if you have Giannis on your team, you're always going to be average to above average.
Yeah.
No matter who else is on your team, at least in his prime. Yes.
It's just so
I'd agree
weird
with that, but
their next 6 draft picks, 3 are gone, and they do have 3. They do still have their 3, but they can be swapped. They got traded for pick swaps. So you just got to hope that the team that could swap is also bad in that situation, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you still do get a pick.
Yes. I'm just saying you can't use any of those picks to trade.
No,
because of the
you
Stepien
just got to hope you get a coup or something.
I wonder if where Giannis ends up depends on whether or not the Oklahoma City Thunder win the title this season. Could it? If they do,
you think Giannis is going to join the Thunder?
If he wants to win a title, he might.
Please no.
Well, okay. Why is that so crazy? I mean, if he wants to actually win a title,
that's a Kevin Durant move. That ain't a Giannis move, if you ask me. But
well, okay. Well, we'll see. But my point is, if OKC wins the title, is my point. Then you can sort of cross it off the list, regardless, because they're you're not going to blow up a team that just won the championship with all that young talent. I wouldn't think, right?
Well, talk to me about the Rockets rather than Thunder. I'd rather hear their pitch.
The Rockets?
They've got it. Young players. I mean, Jalen Green ain't covering himself in glory right now, but they've got interesting young players. They got a ton of picks as well, and they aren't the best team in the league.
Right. Okay. Well, I don't know. All I'm hearing is he's like, God damn, I'd like to not be the best guy maybe all the time on my team. I'm tired of dragging all these bums. Somebody help me out. I want to win a title. This is all he cares about. He literally has said it so many times. I want to win a second title. I want to win a second title.
Yeah.
Well, look at how that went for Kevin Durant. All he wanted to do was win a title, and he joined the best team in the league. and people don't give him a ton of credit for those titles.
No.
You get a lot more if you go for the Rockets.
It's a little different. He's already got the one. I mean, this is where it's different than the Kevin Garnett situation with Minnesota too, which a lot of people bring up. Obviously, he left after 12 years, and he always says, "I wish I left earlier to try and get more titles." Got his one in Boston, but again, Giannis has one. Did that in Milwaukee. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'll never know what Giannis is thinking, but I do know he still wants to be, regardless of what he says on Thanalysis, that he wants to be a number one A guy at the very least. Like, do a lot.
Oh my God!
He's not going to support
any team he goes to besides Jokic and the Nuggets, he's going to be the one guy, the 1A guy. That's not an issue. But he wants more help. He wants to actually compete. Now, going to the Western Conference might be a dumb decision. Stay in the East if you can dictate where you go.
Yeah,
which
I doubt he wants to go to a team that was 68-14 this year. I think he just wants more of a challenge in his life. You know, like take a team to the next level.
Stay in Milwaukee.
That's a big challenge.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's. We'll have lots more time to talk about that. I'm sure, and maybe he'll come out and just squash this. I guess he could. Right? He could just come out and say, "No, I want to be here."
He could.
I want to be here forever. But I don't think he's going to do that. And he hadn't done that, and he did the right thing. He did the superstar move of always applying pressure on the front office to make drastic moves, get more talent in here. Obviously, the Drew Holiday one working the best. So we'll see.
It's very, LeBron, David Griffin, Cavs like, where they had to put in as much as they could, and now they got nothing left at this point. They're just going to be mediocre. Yeah, the Kuzma got him, man. Kuzma got him. All these efforts have not paid off, unfortunately, especially Lillard. Has not worked out.
Got some awards for you guys. None of the big ones, but Steph Curry named the 2024-25 Twyman-Stokes Teammate of the Year. This one recognizes the player deemed the best teammate based on selfless play, leadership as a mentor and role model to other NBA players, and commitment to his team. So he got 66 first-place votes in this. It's funny how they decide this, too. Current NBA players vote for the winner, choosing from a list of 12 finalists, 6 from each conference, who were chosen by a panel of league executives. So they give you, like, the pool, 6 in each conference, and then the players vote. But it was a very close vote. He just beat Steven Adams. So Curry gets it done.
Well, Steven Adams
was
the guy. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing to me. I think I don't know. I literally don't know, and I didn't look up the history because why would I do that? It feels like this goes to role players more often than the face of the league.
Yeah.
But this was pretty funny considering ESPN's Ime Udoka put out an article yesterday about the Curry, Draymond, Jimmy Warriors, the last ride, and there's some actually very good. Steph Curry is an awesome teammate. Nuggets in there, like him, Draymond, and Jimmy are the last guys playing poker at Steph Curry's birthday party. He says, yeah, it's because we're all degenerate poker players. It was a fun time, though. All throughout the years, you have certain moments where you get everybody together intentionally and have a good time. It was a good kind of jump-off point for the rest of the year. Guy will host an event. A block party for everybody. He's like Joe on Survivor, building a bonfire out on the beach just for fun. Gets everybody on the same page. He's also allowed Jimmy Butler to run with this Batman and Robin nickname thing that he's doing. He says, Jimmy's taken the liberty to create a new nickname that he didn't run by me, which is beautiful because it means he's bought in. He's here. I love that. It's filtered on down.
Yeah.
Now we got Buddy Hield calling himself Alfred after game 3.
That was funny.
Butler said he gets to play Robin. That's my Batman. We got all the villains over there. Two-Face, Joker, Riddler, everybody else in the Western Conference. I was like, all right. Nikola Jokic is the Joker.
Yep.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is Two-Face.
Okay.
Hyphenated name. I didn't know who the Riddler was, though.
Ooh.
Kawhi? I don't know. I feel like the Riddler is a bigger personality than Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah. Who's the most quiet villain? That would be a good one, obviously, for Kawhi. JD, chime in here if you got an answer.
In the Rogues Gallery.
Yeah.
Scarecrow? Does Scarecrow talk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not well versed in the DC universe.
Oh, I'm sorry. I put you on the spot. You're a
okay.
Marvel man, are you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Is there anybody that wears a mask in the Western Conference always? That would be Bane. I guess Desmond Bane is
Rui
Bane.
Hachimura.
Okay, yeah, he's Bane right now. Good. So let us know who the Riddler is. Who was Jimmy Butler calling the Riddler?
Ant is the Riddler.
Okay.
Ignatius Roberto
Yeah, he's always
mentioned.
smiling.
Yes, I'm on board with that.
I love it.
So then who's LeBron and Luka of all of this? Because they got to be somebody.
Yeah, you gotta be somebody.
All right, we'll keep spitball.
We'll
You
get
got
deep
anything to
into
add on Curry here being teammate of the year?
Well, I think all the guys who are nominated. I didn't realize that was the situation. They all got to hang out, and whether they go to a Survivor type of island, but just hang out and say, "Whoa, why are you such a great teammate?"
Oh, all the ones nominated.
Yeah.
Like put them in a house.
Yeah, just the great teammates. Just
Maybe
hang out.
That should be the new Starting Five Netflix series.
Yeah, something like that.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, just talk about each other.
Okay.
Just live their great moments.
Okay.
I'm awesome. Al Horford, he would obviously be there. He wasn't nominated, huh?
Wow.
He
I don't
should
know.
be.
I guess he wasn't.
Jason Tatum said Al Horford is my best teammate that I've ever had.
Wow.
After they won the championship. Sounds like
Yeah,
a
who's
good
always
teammate
in,
to have on
I feel
your
like
team.
Mike Conley's always in the mix for
He's
this.
got two.
Drew Holiday, maybe?
He's got 3.
He
Oh,
always-
Jesus.
he always-
I didn't even know that.
Actually, now that I'm looking at this, mostly stars. Almost all stars here.
Maybe you're thinking of this next one, which usually goes to a role player, and that is Draymond Green, though. I mean, still a star. He was announced on Friday as winner of the 2024-25 NBA Hustle Award. The award, which was first given out in 2016-17, honors players who make the effort plays that don't often appear in the traditional box score, but impact winning on a nightly basis. And yeah, this one, more times than not, has gone to maybe more of a role player, obviously a defensive-minded guy. Not that Draymond isn't, but he is like a multiple-time All-Star, All-NBA guy. And he got it done. Draymond Green. Tass, you want to know the stats that they're watching?
Yeah,
The hustle stats?
I know exactly what they are. Charges drawn.
Yeah.
He ranks 6th in his per minute stats. They
a
have
great
per
stat.
1 minute stats. It ain't per 36. It's just per 1 minute. He will draw 0.0071 charges. What? He ranks 15th in deflections, 22nd in screen assists. You'd think he'd be higher.
Yeah, a little bit.
Contested 2-point shots, pretty good, 13th. Contested 3-point shots, 2nd. That's freaking good.
Whoa.
That's
high.
Good. Offensive loose balls recovered. Where do you think he ranks in the 450 players?
He's top 40, I know that.
Offensive loose balls. I bet he's probably 12th.
Yeah, 39th.
Top
Surprise.
40, that's what he got in
He's
there.
always getting back on defense. I understand.
Defensive loose balls recovered. He gets some. Well, 36. That's not as good as I expected either. Offensive box outs. What? 32nd. Defensive box outs. 10th.
Okay.
He's good for that. So he gets it. I couldn't believe that they named top 5 finishers.
Yeah.
And Dyson Daniels was so freaking low. You'd think Dyson would be higher because he led the league in deflections.
Yeah.
By far. And in steals. By far. But those don't count as
How about
hustle
all that
stats.
other stuff? Yeah.
Never boxing out on offense.
It is surprising to see Draymond Green, then Kaysen Wallace, Gershon Yabusele at 3rd, Lou Dort, and Dyson Daniels.
He had some good box out season for Yabusele.
Yeah.
I did love the line in the NBA's announcement about Draymond. While he did not lead a specific hustle stat, Green ranked in the top 15 in 5 categories, and of course became the first winner in the awards history to rank in the top 40 in all 9 hustle
Yeah,
categories.
that one made me laugh too.
That's a classic. Put it on the Hall of Fame plaque.
That's why I knew it was top 40.
Top 40. Wow, first guy to be top 40 in all 9? A 9-category player.
Yeah, so Green gets the Hustle Award, and Marcus Smart won a lot of these, did he not?
Yeah.
3-timer maybe.
Yeah, maybe. He won a lot of them for sure. I don't know who else is on
Yeah,
the list. but
Caruso
anyway.
last year.
Caruso, okay, that makes sense.
Montrezl Harrell, of course.
Okay.
Patrick Beverly, you want them all. Amir Johnson and Thad Young.
Thaddeus Young.
Thaddeus Young.
Amir Johnson's a bit of a surprise. Okay.
He's boxing out hard that season. You
Is this
remember.
consolation for DPOI at all? Like a little bit?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
It's a little head nod. What did they get for this? Did that guy make another crappy trophy for
Victor?
these? Yeah, did Victor do it?
Hustle Award, Victor Salomon.
Or is it a smaller sort of little plaque or something like that? I don't know. I haven't seen it if it is. I don't know what little G.I. Joe character they have
think
in
he
the
made
Voss.
one.
He made one?
I do
Oh,
believe
my
he made
God.
one.
Oh, my God, this guy.
What is that thing? Oh, that's not it.
No, that's the Podoloff right there.
That's the
No
Podoloff.
one's going to OKC, baby.
All right, so a couple awards there to the Warriors star players in Curry and Draymond Green. And we do have more major awards, I guess, this week, right? We should find out some of these. Maybe?
I don't know. Maybe
What, we
we push
save an
it off.
MVP for later? What else do we have
Well,
left?
this week, OKC's not playing this week.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, right.
That doesn't mean they can't give it to him. They could do the whole press conference thing and stuff like that.
Yeah. But they do it later. More people are watching the later we go in the playoffs.
We haven't.
That's what the ratings say.
We haven't done most improved yet.
We
haven't done
Six
coach
man.
yet.
Oh, we did 6 man.
We
My
did
bad.
6 man.
Rookie.
And rookie.
We haven't done rookie yet.
Yeah. Okay.
Executive of the year, of course.
Sure. All right, we got 4 games on tonight, as we joked about off the top of the show. 3 of which are elimination games. Bucks Pacers on NBA TV, Indy up 3-1. Pistons Knicks on TNT, Knicks up 3-1. Magic Celtics, Boston up 3-1. That's back on NBA TV. And then Clippers Nuggets. Oh, that's the big one. We got a pivotal game 5. That's right. That series tied 2-2. Will we get the Jamal Murray game tonight? Of those ones that can end tonight, though, rank them for me, Trey. Like, most likely to end in 5 games to least likely of those first 3 series I threw at you.
I think pretty easy. I think Boston is over tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they end it. They got the home game. They're up 3-1. Should be a Celtics win. Next most likely to end it, I guess, is New York. Right?
Yeah, it's
New York,
interesting.
Detroit, they got home court advantage. I think that's big, though. These games feel like they've been a toss-up, and then obviously the Knicks got a little bit of a gift with the Tim Hardaway foul, or non-foul, I should say, in Game 4. And then Milwaukee, Indiana, I'm still holding out hope for like a crazy Giannis game. You know, I am favoring Indiana certainly, but I still got a lot of respect for Giannis to go and have a 50-point game or something crazy.
Unfortunately, that could happen, but they could still lose.
Also true. That is a good point.
They have other guys just missing layups, unfortunately. So, Giannis had a great series. Not so much for the Bucks. Pacers, I think, is done. Celtics, I think, is done as well. The Knicks Pistons, that should be a good one. Very, very good.
I think that will be the most competitive, maybe, of those 3-1 series tonight. And then Clippers Nuggets. I mean, you got any idea how this one goes? Does it end in a 3-point game or something like that? A potential game-winning shot.
Denver
or free
home
throws?
game?
No, this is Denver home game. Yes.
Denver home game.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the 4 seed. I think they win comfortably, not blowout.
Wow.
But like a 8-pointer, 8 to 12 points.
Interesting. Yeah. Despite, for the most part, like Clippers have outplayed them for a majority of the season.
Yep.
Or series with but Westbrook obviously game 1, his heroics, and then what we saw at game 4, the Aaron Gordon game-winning buzzer-beating alley-oop, but really offensive rebound. Yeah, crazy. Or do you believe it was a pass? Think Jokic passed it? People were getting upset with me the other day. That was a pass. I was like, I really don't think that was a pass.
Yeah.
I don't. But
Probably not.
yeah. Johnny on the spot. Okay, anyway, we're excited. We'll be back here tomorrow to talk about those 4 games and any other news. Hopefully you'll join us then. Hopefully this was a classic. Hit the like button, subscribe. Podcast listeners, 5-star ratings and reviews. Until then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us, and remember, there's 4 games on tonight. This is crazy. What is this, baseball?
What is this, baseball?
Yeah. I guess it's baseball.
Brace the day, people.